Hello guys, welcome to another video, and this one I'm going to be doing another update for the Twister Tactician. This is the day 2 update, and in the background there's some footage of my first few maps on the build. So I've made quite a few changes to this build. Firstly, I'm using a Tamed Beast at this point. Shout out to all of you who commented down the last video recommending that addition. I'm going to be looking for a bit of a better beast, but right now I just have one that has the Trail of Lightning modifier. So it drops shocked ground that I can then use to boost Twister damage. I think the Tamed Beast tech is pretty good. It's not perfect because the beast dies a lot and it's not always dropping the ground effect where you need it to be. But since we're playing Tactician, we can still fit it in alongside all of the persistent buffs that we need. So it's a nice addition, and it does mean that most of the time while mapping, you can get away with clicking one less button here and there, which is great. There's quite a few really good monster modifiers I could get on the beast alongside the ground effect, so I'll see if I can find something better than what I have right now. One thing to mention here is that the reservation cost is percentage based, and the actual percent cost is on a per beast basis. It's calculated on some kind of formula that combines monster modifiers and beast type, so it may be that you need to look for a beast that you actually have enough spirit to be able to reserve it. I'm also using Barrage now, which is a spell that buffs your next bow or spear projectile attack, and it does that by making the attack repeat 2 times, plus an additional time per frenzy charge consumed. So that's how we're spending our charges now, and that basically means that when you throw the Twister into a stage 3 whirlwind, it just creates a ridiculous amount of projectiles and deals a lot of damage. Now, I have seen some people discussing that this is bugged and the Twisters shouldn't be shotgunning, but actually that's not the case because Twister specifically states that the projectiles fired at the same time cannot hit the same target more than once per interval, but these are not added projectiles from Barrage, they are attack repeats. So each repeat is considered as a different attack, so technically they're not fired at the same time in the same attack. However, speaking of bugs, there was a bug with Twister which meant that it was gaining way more damage than it was supposed to gain from the elemental ground effects, based on the amount of Twisters that are actually being fired in that attack. And that was hotfixed last night, and the build has noticeably lower damage as a result, but it's okay, I've still been able to progress quite comfortably. So the basic rotation is Whirling Slash 3 times to create a stage 3 Twister, and then Barrage to buff the next attack, and then the Twister through the Whirlwind to create a huge amount of Twisters. You can also use Frostbolt for the chilled ground if your beast is slacking and not doing its job properly. And then of course sometimes you won't actually have Barrage ready to go and you'll just be using the Whirlwind Slash combo into a normal Twister attack. Alright, let's take a look at the gem progression, gear and passive tree for day 2 progression. First, the gems. So Twister is unchanged from the last update, acceleration, persistence and retreat. Whirling Slash has martial tempo and cadence. You need to be a bit careful with cadence as this support grants more attack speed per time you've used the skill in the last 4 seconds. But if you use it more than 6 times in the last 4 seconds, you'll actually be locked out from using it. You'll be unable to use it for 10 seconds. So this support essentially means you can spend less time actually setting up a stage 3 whirlwind, but you don't want to be spamming the skill or you'll get locked out of it and then you won't actually be able to do your combo. There's also Font of Rage there, as the whirlwind counts as an object, so you can generate rage while you're standing in it. And since we pull the whirlwind around with us while we're creating a stage 3 whirlwind, we're able to gain quite a bit of rage for more attack damage scaling, which is really nice. And Whirlwind Slash is still level 1 by the way, so no mana cost issues there. Then we have Barrage linked to Perpetual Charge, so that each charge that it attempts to consume has a chance of not being consumed, but still provides its benefit of being consumed. Also, Premeditation there for more damage. And then Thunderous Leap for movement, Holy Descent for some regen on landing. And the Frostbolt is there as well, as I said, in case the beast isn't doing its job. That's linked to Arcane Tempo for faster casts, and Suffuse for larger chilled ground area effects. Then we have our reservation skills, Combat Frenzy with Profusion for extra charge generation, Wind Dancer there for more evasion, and then Ghost Dance with Fast Forward to lower the time between stack application. And lastly, our Tamed Beast. This one has 39% Spirit Reservation, and as I said, it's only really providing the shocked ground right now, so I'm going to be on the lookout for a better beast. One thing that you can do to fish for good beasts is go to the Jungle Ruins or the Infested Barrens. Both have campsites with checkpoints that you can respawn at, and both campsites have rare beast spawns immediately outside, so you can just keep respawning at checkpoint to look for good beasts to tame. Now let's take a quick look at gear progression and the passive tree. So gear wise, I have had quite a few upgrades, and the main thing that I'm really happy about upon reaching maps there is that all of my elemental resistances are capped out, which is really nice. And I was able to get a spear upgrade. I actually found this spear with IPD and double exalted flat fizz and hybrid fizz, so that was really nice. And I'll be on the lookout for another upgrade now that I'm into maps. Everything else is pretty basic. A few life rolls here and there, some energy shield. I do have a huge spirit roll on my amulet, and this is actually why I'm able to reserve all of my persistent buffs alongside the Tamed Beast, because I haven't done my 3rd ascension yet, so I don't have the 50% less reservation node on the Tactician just yet. And that means that you don't actually need this spirit roll, because as soon as you have the 50% less reservation node, you'll actually be able to reserve all of them without it. Now let's take a look at the passive tree progression for day 2. I've taken this energy shield and evasion wheel here, and some more attack damage and a bit of attack speed over here as well. And then up here there's a projectile wheel, some projectile damage and speed. That cluster is actually really good. You get some movement speed there too. And then up here, another evasion energy shield wheel, and some more attack speed as well. I'm still undecided if the skill effect duration cluster up here is worth the travel points or not. I think it might be better to begin investment into crit at this point, because that way you're actually front-loading the damage, where the skill effect duration is nice, but it's more kind of sustained damage in fights, and I think I'd be happier with more front-loaded damage. But that's pretty much it for the day 2 update of the build. I've updated the mobilitics guide, the link is in the description below, and I'll continue to update that as I progress through maps. I'll leave you with some footage of my first map boss that I encountered in my 2nd tier 1 map. Let me know how you're getting on by commenting below. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned and stay safe.